Alright folks, Hargo's here, coming from the 11.1 PTR, and I have two topics I want to cover today. One being stat priority for Flame Shaper Evoker Blossom builds, and then second, some trinkets I'm excited about that will build off those stat priorities coming from the raid in 11.1 Undermine. So, stat priorities for Flame Shaper Evoker Blossom builds. Number one is Mastery, which I think is the same for Echo builds. So Mastery for Preservation Evoker. So healing done to allies is increased by the percentage of our Mastery while our health is at the same or above the allies' health. So this can be a massive increase in healing while we can maintain our own health. So for me right now it's 56%. So as long as I maintain above my allies, my healing's increased by that percentage. So how do we maintain this Mastery? Well, we have a couple talents and skills that we can use to do so. We have Panacea, Emerald Blossom, and Verdant Embrace. Instantly heals you by a certain amount. So this usually ends up about 4 to 5% of my healing, so just healing myself throughout the fight with these two talents, Emerald Blossom and Verdant Embrace. So along with Verdant Embrace, you can cast Dream Breath with Call of Ysera, so you can have a hot on yourself constantly, where we always will cast Dream Breath on ourselves whenever we cast it in 11.1, so we can maintain Mastery through that. And then if you need additional help, you can engulf yourself, which will consume that Dream Breath, heal you, and then heal everyone around you. You should have Mastery during this time, and increase your healing throughout the fight as you maintain that Mastery. Stat priority number 2, we have Critical Strike. Now, for some other builds, you may prioritize haste, but for us, we have some talents that build off Critical Strike. Number 1, on the Flame Shaper tree, we have Conduit of the Flame. So as long as an ally is above 50%, our crit strike chances increased by 15%. This is helpful because when we're farming for Essence, Living Flame has 1 extra chance to trigger Essence Burst when it critically strikes. So let's say our critical strike is 20%, our allies above 50%. That makes our critical strike chance 35%. So those Living Flames have a higher chance to proc Essence Burst. So I shared this in a previous video, but let me show you again. We have multiple chances or ways to proc Essence Burst. We'll cast a Fire Breath first, and then Living Flame as our main Essence Burst creator. We didn't get any there. Temporal Anomaly. Another method, so we have one there, and you can freely cast Emerald Blossom with those Essence Bursts from those two methods. So Essence Burst is very important for us as a Blossom build, so we can use those Essence Bursts to further build off our healing. We have Titan's Gift. Essence Burst increase the effectiveness of your next Essence ability, which is Blossom, by 25%. And then as long as you use that within 10 seconds, you will also have Exhilarating Burst active. Each time you gain Essence Burst, your critical heals will heal for 260% versus a standard of 200 for 10 seconds. So again, your Essence Burst will increase your Blossom by 25%. And then of the 5 that you heal, you have a chance to critically strike for 260% versus 200. So you can get massive Emerald Blossoms this way. I've seen myself in this testing hit for 1 million for one of the 5 that I'm healing with these Emerald Blossoms, which is a massive percentage of someone's health in that window. So jumping into trinkets from the raid, the number 1 priority that I want to share here for trinkets is House of Cards. So you have a base of intellect, but it's an on-use trinket, but will increase your mastery by 7,000 to 10,000, give or take, for 20 seconds. So what I recommend to do here is to use this within your stasis window. So this is the biggest window that you can cast tons of Emerald Blossoms. So you should have Essence Burst, Exhilarating Burst active during this time. So you should have tons of critical strikes at 260% effectiveness and this window, and this increased mastery. When I was doing some testing, which we'll show here in a little bit, this will increase your mastery by about 20-30%, somewhere in there. So that's a massive increase in 20 seconds, along with your stasis window. Probably number 2 for me, which I'll probably test this out because it is critical strike, but I'll see how much this is active. So it's an equip one, so your spells have a chance to proc this, where it gives you a starting amount of 850, give or take, critical strike, and then each cast within a second for 15 seconds, your critical strike will be increased by that base amount every second until it ramps up and will stop after 15 seconds. So at the end of that 15 seconds, you should have about 15% more crit. So we'll see how much this is active. If this isn't active very much during a fight, I would try to go for the Eye of Kazan, which is a base of mastery, so 1500, so that's a lot of mastery for us. And then during combat, your intellect will grow about 400 times 20. And then when you reach full empowerment, it will heal allies for a certain amount. So that'll probably be my backup trinket. The only downside, this is from the last boss, so it may be a little bit harder to get, but that would be my choices for trinkets for Blossom builds. So let's see this in action real quick. So let's say we're looking to do a stasis for tons of Emerald Blossoms. I'll do some essence farming here. So I have one, that's all I need for this. So I will activate the House of Cards. My mastery is increased to 78% from 56. Activate stasis. Cast my 3, and then I'll cast 3 more. I didn't see a million in there, but trust me, I did that when I was doing my testing. You can see upwards of 1 million from Emerald Blossom within that window. So that would be my main trinket I'm trying to get for my stasis window. It is a 2-minute versus a minute and a half, so it doesn't align completely, but you can try to use it from that, or you can also build it into your engulf windows if it is up when your stasis isn't. All right, thanks everyone for listening. Keep watching my videos. Thank you.